Welcome into Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. Some news and rumors coming at you guys on today's show. Before we break them all down, though, let's send some good vibes the Bengals' way with OTAs finally, the actual OTAs, just around the corner for Cincinnati. If you want the Bengals to win the AFC North because nobody here likes the Browns or Ravens or Steelers, then like the video right now. The more likes, it's backed by science here at Chat Sports. We have the data to prove it. More likes we get, the more likely the Bengals are to win the division this year. We begin with the latest on Jonah Williams. James Rapien reports that Williams is expected to report for mandatory minicamp. Now, that's a not massive shock necessarily in terms of the timing for Williams. That's when the mandatory stuff starts, right? Minicamp begins on June 13th. If a player's not there for the mandatory stuff, that is a holdout. At that point, they are subject to some potential discipline. Not that as important for minicamp compared to training camp, but moving along in the offseason, the preseason, I have to call it there. That is June 13th, the start date, by the way, about a week after OTAs actually start for Cincinnati. Williams, by the way, is expected to make the move over to right tackle, and for the most part, we all assume, win that starting job at the right tackle spot, a role he did play at Alabama. But he is coming off a not-so-great season for the Bengals. The sack numbers are really high. The hurries aren't drastically high, but when Williams got beat, it often led to a sack. And the PFF run grade, it's PFF, I know, but the run grade was not exactly impressive either. Williams will have to earn that right tackle job, though. Orlando Brown is the guy at left tackle. He didn't get the deal he thought he was going to get. Bengals swooped in, making a rare big-time splash in free agency, at least that level of big-time splash. But Lyle Collins, maybe Cody Ford, Jackson Carman is getting to work with the one right now in the off-season workout stage here. They'll all compete at the right tackle spot. Now, as I'm sure we all remember, Williams did request a trade to play at left tackle because that's where the money is. He's not dumb. He's thinking ahead. He knows if I want to get paid the most next offseason, left tackle is how I go about doing that. Did not materialize, at least as of yet, and I kind of doubt it ends up materializing. I don't think there was that much interest in Jonah Williams in paying him $12 million, and I don't think the Bengals wanted to eat any of that money, so you can kind of see how a trade in the end never really materialized. Collins is coming off of injury. Hakeem Adeniji, Cody Ford, Jackson Carman have all been up and down at best over the course of their NFL careers. So I would think Williams starts. Do you agree? Do you think Jonah Williams ends up starting at right tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals? Sound off in the comments section. Y for yes, N for no at the pinned comment of today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let us know. Moving on now to some more on Joe Mixon. Head coach Zac Taylor publicly backing his starting running back once again. It is, of course, worth mentioning with the post-June 1st deadline coming up today, technically 4 p.m. Eastern. Then it's all gravy after that, I suppose. The Bengals could save over $10 million if they wanted to cut or trade Joe Mixon after June 1st. And I think had the draft gone differently, maybe it would have been a different conversation with as things sit at this stage with the Bengals and Joe Mixon. But they only added Chase Brown in the 5th round. That's not really a locked and loaded, clear-cut replacement. Here's what head coach Zac Taylor had to say on Mixon. I think we've got a great relationship with Joe. I've appreciated how he's come to the building every single day and just worked hard. That's a big reason why we gave him the contract we gave him and his presence with the team. He's a guy I enjoy being around, and we're counting on him. Mixon's numbers the past couple of years have really not been the best. Under 4 yards per carry in 2022 and 2020, 4.1, 2019, 2021. Also very fair to point out that, hey, the offensive line wasn't exactly good in Cincinnati, but do you want to pay $10 million to a 4-yard per carry back? That's not how most teams run their business in the modern-day NFL. Now, The Athletic had previously reported pre-draft that a pay cut request could be coming from the Bengals to Joe Mixon. But pay cut requests only work when a team has leverage. And I don't think there's a lot of leverage right now for the Bengals on that side. Look at what they have in the running back room at this stage. Chris Evans, Chase Brown, Travion Williams. If we were to power rank that running back room, even if we've got excitement about the 5th-round pick out of Illinois, of Williams being the new Samaje Perine, of Chris Evans' pass-catching value, I think we would rank that near the bottom of the entire NFL when it comes to different running back rooms. That's not exactly a sexy group. And yeah, there's money to be saved, not a lot guaranteed for Mixon, so the cut is a viable threat. But is Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott, Melvin Gordon going to move the needle? No. So I think the reason I haven't heard much of that is, well, there's not much argument for the Bengals to actually make it happen. If the player says no, then you're kind of on a bit of a dicey ground there in the end. Now, if you want more free Bengals YouTube videos, make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/BengalsTV. We've got free videos for you each and every single day right here, or at least almost every single day, here on Bengals Breakdown. So subscribe so you don't miss out. Tyler Boyd's future next up. This time Boyd himself speaking on. I really loved what Boyd had to say about where he sits or where he thinks he sits with this Bengals organization, because there is a very real chance, if not the likely outcome, that this is Boyd's last year as a member of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll actually kind of compare it to Randall Cobb a few years ago with the Green Bay Packers, where slot receiver, Packers wanted to pay other guys. Boyd kind of wasn't the same elite player he was at his very best. It's still good, by the way, don't get me wrong there. He could find more money, more guaranteed playing time, more guaranteed money elsewhere. But I love what Boyd said. I know we have a very high chance of making the Super Bowl and even winning it, and this is where I want to be. Whether I come with a new deal or not, I got to just go out there, and I'm going to be me. I'm very appreciative of the Bengals still wanting me to be around, knowing they don't want to trade me and things like that. That's a pretty clear sign to me that whether it came from his agent talking to the Bengals or the Bengals front office themselves, they told Boyd he's not getting traded. Look, his numbers have declined. From 2019, he's a 1,000-yard receiver. Now he's dipped down to a 700-yard receiver. To be fair, there's Jamar Chase. There's T. Higgins. And that is a very real issue for Cincinnati, because the Bengals have made it very clear they're not trading T. Higgins. Go get your own receiver, in the words of Duke Tobin. And they want to pay Higgins, and they want to pay Jamar Chase. So that's what makes it tough, right? So what is the percent chance that you think Cincinnati ends up keeping Tyler Boyd? You can be honest with me. I think the number's a little bit low, but go ahead and sound off in the comments section. Percent chance the Bengals keep Tyler Boyd next year. I mentioned it earlier. The Bengals want to keep T. Higgins. They're going to keep Jamar Chase. Those two could easily combine for $50 million a year on their two contracts. Even if Tyler Boyd only costs like 6 or 7, it is very tough to make that also fit. Now, you could do it if you wanted to. You can always fit one more player, but you have to go with what is best for the team. You're going to pay Tyler Boyd $7 million, or you're going to pay another offensive lineman. So because of that, because the Bengals drafted Charlie Jones out of Purdue, a guy that I liked a lot, to be the backup slot, I think is your eventual Tyler Boyd replacement, by the way, and your short-term return man replacement. I just don't see Boyd sticking around unless he wants to go like 1 year, $3 million, in which case, great. Happy to have you. I just think that's take care of yourself and go get money. You can get double that somewhere else, I think, pretty easily. Bengals hats are currently on sale for you guys. Chatsports.com/Bengals hats. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. They've got the training camp hats that you see on screen right here. The t-shirt combo with the hat. Also, that's almost 50% off right now. And headbands in the Joe Burrow style. Chatsports.com/Bengals hats. Links in the comments section and in the description of today's show. They are on sale for a limited time, so go get yours today. USA Today recently named one rookie who could take a starting job from a veteran player, and they picked Jordan Battle, the third-round pick out of Alabama, and Nick Scott, the free agency acquisition from the LA Rams this offseason, which I think the plan long-term is for it to be a Jordan Battle, Daxton Hill starting combo in Cincinnati. But in year one, that might be pushing it a little bit because, remember, not all third-round picks, most third-round picks, don't become immediate starters. I think right now, as it sits, there's also Tyson Anderson. I forgot about him out of Toledo from, I think it was the year before last. It was the Daxton Hill, Tyson Anderson draft. And then there's Brandon Wilson, Michael Thomas. No, not that one or the other one, technically, who also played receiver. I think Battle's in line to be safety 3 early on. But safety 2, not sure I agree with that. So pick one to start for me. JB for Jordan Battle, NS for Nick Scott, who takes over the Von Bell role in Cincinnati. We'll go more in depth on each player, but sound off for me in the comment section. I did like the pick of Jordan Battle. He's done some deep stuff, some strong stuff at Alabama. Intelligent football player, very highly liked and praised by Nick Saban. Always a good player to draft. But I do want to make an important note here in terms of how things really tend to work out in the NFL. We're all excited about Jordan Battle, right? Nick Scott, meanwhile, who was a 7th-round pick, so a different level of investment, he has shown growth each and every single year in his career. He made 8 tackles in 2019, then 17, then 47, then 86th. That is about as a straight an arrow of upward growth from one end of the chart to the other end that you can find in the NFL. So I'm not going to write off Nick Scott, at least for this year, although I do hope at some point Jordan Battle takes over as the starting safety, but I think that might be more in maybe year 2 or year 3.